Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am here to give you my Breaking Bad review for today. I might do a second one today. I'm not really sure yet. But this episode was awesome. It was insane. And I want to remind you that I am watching this show live. I don't not reading the spoilers, nothing. So everything that I say, I have no clue what's going to happen in the future. So please do not send me spoilers. That would be great. Alright, so this episode is Season 2, Episode 12, and it's called Phoenix. And it came out on May 24th, 2009. So the episode starts off when Walter is going to do that deal that he was going to do with the Polo's owner, and he was going to give him all the meth. It cut to that scene. And he's on the phone with Marie, and he makes up this BS about why he's not there for his birth of his child because he's stuck in traffic. And he said he'll be there as soon as he can. And then he shows up, and he goes to see Skylar, and we find out that pretty much that Ted took her to the hospital, and it almost got so bad that he would have had to do it himself. And Walter gets to hold his kid for the first time, and he's all happy about it. And Skylar does say that he wishes she could have been here, and Walter says that they're both gonna spend the night there, and he goes home to get his stuff. I think this was all BS because he comes home and he has the bag where the meth was in. No, he has like a bag full of money, and he stuffs it somewhere. Later on, you're gonna find out where he stuffs it. And then it cut to the theme song. So I thought the opening was a really good part of the episode. So then the next morning, Jesse and Jane wake up. Well, Jane gets a phone call from her father, and she has to go somewhere. We're going to find out where later on she's going to go. And Jesse finds out that the place had been robbed. Everyone stole the meth. But Jesse was so high up off heroin the night before that he doesn't realize that Walter White was even there. So then we find out that Jane and her father go to rehab. They go to these rehab meetings and talk about why they even started doing drugs and all that in the first place. That doesn't really surprise. I wasn't actually that surprised that she did. And then her father wants to know why she slept in, and she makes up this BS excuse that she was working on like some sort of tattoo, and her father wants her to quit her job. And he gets suspicious about whether or not he actually is seeing Jesse, and she says, "No, I wouldn't see that guy." But he says, well, he wanted to meet me like you were involved or something. And she says no. She pretty much lies to him. And then Walter and Skylar put the baby to bed. We don't know what the baby's name is actually in this episode. And Jesse calls Walter and tells him that the place had been robbed and now everyone knows where we stole our meth, and it's not a good thing. But Walter doesn't tell him that he took it. At first, Walter Jr. answered the phone, but then he hung up. And then, I remember. Oh, and then the next day, well, that night, Walter is helping out the baby, and he shows her, because it's a girl, where he stashed all the money. We find out. Remember, like 2 episodes ago, there was like rot in the He's saying that there was rot in the basement, but really what he was doing, I think, was setting up a place where he could store all his money, because obviously he was going to run out of room because he can't use the baby's room anymore for the money because he because she they would get suspicious about why he continues to go in there. He would wake the baby up, so he finds a new place and he shows her everything he did for her. I thought that was cool. And then Jesse comes in and he finds out that Walter took the meth. He actually shows up at the school, which I thought was cool, and he says that he's upset that he didn't tell him because he was worried that he'd flip out on him because he thought Walter was going to flip out on him for screwing up. And Walter says that he did screw up because you were getting high off heroin or whatever you were high off on. And thanks to you not being on task, I missed the birth of my daughter. So I thought that was good. And then Jesse asks how much he got paid, and he says 1.2 million. I think it was, that's how much it was. And Jesse wants his money. He wants because you know they split the money and they're gonna be getting, and he wants 480 million, I think it is, and no 80,000 or 80,000, and because they split it. But Walter doesn't want to give them to him because he doesn't want to be responsible for what he does with it. Because if he gives them that much money, he would be dead in a week because of all the drugs he's gonna smoke. And Jesse tells him that he's clean. He's not gonna do that kind of stuff. And then Walter wants him to prove it. He hands him a beaker and he wants him to piss in it, and he's gonna have it tested to make sure that he actually is clean. Jesse refuses, and then Walter says that Jesse isn't getting his money for him and his druggy girlfriend, and then he throws the beaker at I guess the chemical like periodic table like map thing that's stuck down, and walks off. That was awesome. This scene that they had was actually pretty intense. So then the next thing we find out that Walter Jr. created a Save Walter White website that's gonna be like a charity case to donate money so to help Walter with his payments. Because earlier we find out that Walter's going to be having his surgery, and since Skylar just had the kid, she can't really go back to work. So this is the way of helping him out. Then Walter, at first, is happy about it, but he doesn't really want him to do this. He doesn't tell him to take it down, and Skylar doesn't want him to. But Walter says that this shouldn't be a charity case. He doesn't want to accept the charity case. So Walter talks to Saul about it, and he says, and he's concerned because he has all this money that he's making off the, off the meth, and he can't do anything with it because he can't talk to his wife about it because she'll get suspicious, and all of that. So then Saul has this idea to use the website to have like somebody hack it, and it's gonna look like the money he puts into it is gonna be like from multiple countries, like from United States, Canada, even like states and all of that. So I think this is gonna be a great idea. It looks like, and yeah, Saul actually is really becoming a great character in this series too. I really am growing a liking to Saul. Yeah, I thought he's cool. So then the next day, or at least I think this was the next day, Jane and Jesse are sleeping, and Jane's father's waiting at the the drug meetings, and she doesn't show, and then she calls him again. She's like, "Yeah, I overslept. I'll be right back." And also the night before, Jesse told Jane about what happened with Walter, how he's not giving him his money, how he just treats him like crap, and then after this, he's putting heroin into his system. And then when Jane leaves, gets out of Jesse's house, Jane's father's out there, which really was awesome. And he rushes in the house, and then Jane's like, "Let me explain. Come on, let me explain." But he's not listening. And then he finds the heroin and Jesse and all of them, so he finds out that he's lying to him. So he tries to kick Jesse out of the house, but Jesse, he attacks Jesse. Tries to force him to leave the house, and Jesse has a baseball bat and says he paid his rent, and I have my rights. I can stay here. So then Jane's father's like, "You've been clean for 18 months. Why would you do this?" And he wants her and Jesse to go to rehab right now. And Jane's like, we were just talking about that. And She wants to go tomorrow, though, because she wants to get all her job and her plants. She has to make sure they don't die. Wants to get that sorted out. And Jane's father's just about to report her to the police, but he agrees they're going to go tomorrow. And then Jane says that we have to get this money from... Alright, we have to get this money from Walter, so that way we'll have freedom. No one can tell us what to do. So then they call... Well, Jane calls Walter. And then pretends that, because Skylar answers the phone, so she pretends to be like one of his students that wants like a recommendation letter for a college. Sorry. And then so when he leaves by himself, when Walter's like all alone, she wants to have Jesse to have all his money, and wants him to do the right thing, give Jesse his cut, and she even says that this is Jesse's drug addict girlfriend. I thought that was awesome that she said that. And then Walter's like that he doesn't want to give it to him because he doesn't want to be responsible, and Jesse ruining his body with all these drugs. But then she says, you know what, this actually is blackmail, because at first she thought it was blackmail. She says, how much... She pretty much threatens us to turn him into the police. She says, how interesting would it be for a high school teacher to go to a drug addict that has a brother in the DEA? So then it takes this conversation takes a awkward turn. So I guess Walter decides to do it because later on he shows up at the house. And Skylar thinks that he's out getting diapers. And he hands Jesse the money. Well, first, Jane was going to take the money, but Walter's like, no, I want... I'll answer that in a second. No, I want Jesse to take it. And then when he leaves, he said an awesome line. He tells Jesse, we know who wears the pants here. Well, he references that. So then Walter goes to a bar. He makes up this BX excuse, though, when Skylar calls saying that he can't find the diapers anywhere. And he says, I'm in Walmart right now. I'm going to try to find them. And he has a conversation with Jane's dad, but he doesn't know this is Jane. Walter doesn't know this is Jane's dad. And they talk about, like, their kids and all of that stuff. And says that we wish we could decide what was best for their kids. Because Jane just... and he talks about you can just have to deal with it by giving your kid a lot of love. I thought it was great stuff. So then Walter goes back to Jesse's house, knocks on the door, and says he wants to talk to Jesse, but he doesn't answer. And Jesse and Jane were happy too that they had all this stuff, and they were going to get clean with this money. But then they start doing heroin again. So when Walter opens the door, they're all out of it, and Walter sees Jesse, and he's out. He's trying to wake him up. And then Jane starts vomiting in her sleep, suffocates, and dies. And Walter doesn't do anything to save her. He doesn't try to do the Heimlich maneuver. He doesn't do anything. He just watches her die. And I thought that made a great scene. It shows kind of Walter's changing from all of this stuff. Okay, I want a second. But yeah, I thought that was a great scene. As for this episode, this was an amazing episode. It's actually the second to last episode. The next episode I'm going to watch is the last episode of Season 2. And I thought this just was a great episode. It really was awesome. I wonder what Jesse's going to say when Walter didn't save it too, actually. He's going to be pissed about it. Skylar seemed like she was kind of pissed that Walter missed the birth date because she did say wish she were here. But I don't really think she's that pissed. But I guess I just wonder what's gonna happen when he finds out she ever finds out the real reason. But that's my review of this episode of Breaking Bad. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts about it, leave your thoughts in the comments below, just about this episode or any episodes before this, because I haven't seen any episodes after this or know what happens. So just do that. And if you want to subscribe, you can click right there. And yeah, and then I'll be back to give you another one maybe later on today or tomorrow. But that's pretty much it, guys. See you later.